On this week's A Road to Peace, we take a look at North Korea KCTV footage on facilities for fishermen, preparations for the rainy season, and Kim Jong-un's visit to a cosmetics factory. We also discuss how North Korea's hardliners are affecting the denuclearization process. Lastly, we shed light on a newfound interest in North Korean cuisine among South Korean diners.
Hello and welcome to our program. During the North Korea-U.S. summit in Singapore last month, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un reportedly told U.S. National Security Adviser John Bolton that they have to take a picture together to show it to his hardliners back home. On this week's A Road to Peace, we'll discuss how Pyongyang's hardliners could affect its denuclearization process. But first off, we will shed light on North Korean culture and society reflected in the country's broadcast from a couple of days ago. Let's take a look at a short clip from its KCTV.
김정은 동지께서 리솔준 요사와 함께 신의주 화장품 공장을 현지 지도하셨습니다. 경의하는 최고리 용도자 동지께서는 공장에서 첨단 돌파전을 힘있게 보여 생산 지휘 및 기술 공정 관리, 경영 관리를 정보화하여 생산과 경영 활동을 과학적으로 진행할 수 있게 통합 생산 체계를 높은 수준에서 구축한 데 대하여 평가하셨습니다. 공장에 새로 꾸린 세척용 및 액체 화장품 생산 공정을 돌아보시면서 원료 자재와 제품 운반에 필요한 무인 운반차를 비롯하여 수많은 설비들을 공장 기술자들과 기능공들이 자체의 힘으로 설계 제작하거나 도안의 기계 공장들에서 만들었다는 이야기를 만족하게 들어주셨습니다. 경의하는 최고리 용도자 동지께서는 신의주 화장품 공장은 나라의 경공업 발전에 크게 이바지하고 있는 공장이라고 치하시면서 공장 일꾼들과 종업원들이 대중적 기술 혁신의 불길 높이 명제품을 더 많이 개발하기 위한 투쟁을 힘있게 벌여 우리 인민들이 즐겨 찾고 선호하는 질 좋은 화장품들을 대대적으로 꽝꽝 생산해내고 있는 데 대하여 거듭 높이 평가하셨습니다.
김종은 동지께서 평안북도 신도군을 현지 지도하시었습니다. 저국의 서북단에 자리 잡고 있는 신도군은 수수천년 썰물에 씻겨 버림받던 이름도 없는 무명평을 대결인 제방을 쌓아 섬들을 하나로 연결하여 수천 정도의 갈밭을 조성하는 웅장 대자연 예절 전투를 현명하게 이끌어주시고 몸소 피단솜이라고 이름까지 지어주신 위대한 스님들의 비범한 용도에 의하여 칼바다 설레이는 원료기지로 전면된 영광의 땅입니다. 신도군을 대규모의 갈 생산 기지답게 잘 꾸리고 갈 재배를 과학화 현대화하여 정본 수확고를 높이며 갈 수송 문제를 해결하여 공장들의 소미 원료를 원만히 보장하여야 한다고 말씀하셨습니다. 신도군을 주체적인 화학소미 원료 기지로 튼튼히 꾸리고 갈 생산을 늘리는 것은 우리나라 화학공업의 자립성을 더욱 강화하기 위한 중요한 사업이라고 하시면서 자신께서 적극 도와주겠으니 갈 농사를 잘 지어 최고 수확연도의 기록을 정상화하고 앞으로 계속 갈 대풍을 안아오자고 뜨겁게 말씀하셨습니다. 지금 국가적으로 농장들의 많은 트랙터와 농기계, 농기구들을 보장해주고 있지만 보관 관리를 바로 하지 못하여 가동률을 높이지 못하고 있다고 하시면서 농기계와 농기구를 소중히 다루고 주인답게 관리하며 담당자들의 책임성과 역할을 높여 제때 수리 정비하고 효과 있게 이용함으로써 용농공정의 기계화를 적극 실현하여야 한다고 말씀하셨습니다.
남포 대경수산사업소에서 물고기 잡이 전투를 힘있게 벌이고 있는 오로공들의 생활상 편의를 잘 보장해주고 있습니다. 올해 물고기 잡이 전투가 시작된 첫날부터 중심 오장으로 진출한 이곳 수산사업소의 봉사선들은 고깃배들의 연유와 물을 비롯한 물자들을 정상적으로 보장해주고 있습니다. 또한 오랜 기간 바다 위에서 생활하는 오르공들의 편의를 보장해주기 위해서 리발실, 목욕탕을 비롯한 여러 가지 문화후생시설들의 관리와 운영을 짜고 들어 그들이 바다 생활에서 불편이 없도록 하고 있습니다.
우리 오르공들이 우리 봉사선에 올라서 무태서와 똑같이 정말 그 시식이 한때를 즐겁게 보내는 모습을 볼 때마다 앞으로 봉사선 운영을 더 잘해서 오르공들에 대한 우리 당의 사랑이 그대로 더 가까이 가닿도록 힘껏 일해 나가겠습니다.
장마철 피해막이 대책을 철저히 세우자 농장들에서는 영양을 총집중하여 물길 정리를 다그치고 배수 양수기를 비롯한 고인물 빼기 시설들의 정비 보수를 잘해야 한다. 강냉이와 같이 키 큰 작물이 자라고 있는 밭에는 빗바람 피해를 받지 않도록 대책을 철저히 세우며 수확한 앞구루 밀, 보리, 감자가 부패 변질되지 않도록 보관 대책을 철저히 세우자. 철도 운수 부문에서 철길 노반과 철다리를 비롯한 시설물들이 피해를 받지 않도록 조직 사업을 잘 짜고 들어 대고도 전투장들에 대한 철도 수송이 조금도 지장을 받지 않도록 하자.
수산 부문에서는 해일과 태풍 예보를 신속히 알려주는 체계를 철저히 세워 고깃배와 오구들이 손실되지 않도록 하여야 한다. 양식장, 양어장에서는 빗물이 넘어 뚝이 터지거나 물고기가 빠져나가는 현상이 나타나지 않도록 예방 대책을 세우는 데 특별한 힘을 놓자.
For today's discussion, we're joined by Go Myong-hyun, Research Fellow at the Asan Institute for Policy Studies. Thank you for joining our program today.
Thanks for having me.
So we just saw North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visit a cosmetics factory in Siniju and Sindogun, an island near the North Korea-China border. I think it's pretty significant because it's the first domestic trip by Kim after his summits with U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. What did you make of this footage?
No, I think it's very interesting that Kim Jong-un has visited a cosmetic production facility. In this case, where it's an indication that Kim is trying to point out to the North Korean people that the North Korean face of strategic competition with the United States with missile provocations and nuclear tests is going to wrap up. It's going to be replaced by something more peaceful. We're talking about consumption here, domestic consumption of cosmetics, which is a much more higher level consumption than, say, foodstuff. So the fact that Kim Jong-un is talking about increasing the production of cosmetics is a way for Kim Jong-un to point to the people in North Korea that the future ahead is going to be more positive than the past.
We also saw Kim engaging in conversations with factory workers, and he is also riding a small and seemingly old car.
Oh yeah, that was very interesting too. But then we have to understand that Kim Jong-un has been trying to portray himself as a different kind of leader to North Korean people ever since he became the leader of North Korea in 2012. Unlike his father, Kim Jong-il, who tended to be a little bit aloof from the public. For instance, Kim Jong-il wasn't really seen giving speeches to the North Korean people. But then Kim Jong-un, the son, on the other hand, he has tried to be seen as somebody who's humble and especially friendly to North Korean people. We know that a couple of years ago in the New Year's address, Kim Jong-un actually apologized to people in North Korea for not being able to meet many important production goals. So, I mean, this what we have seen just now with Kim Jong-un going to this small island, an old boat, and riding this really old car, is actually an extension of this image campaign by the North Korean regime to portray the leader as somebody down to earth and friendly to North Korean people.
Did any other detail catch your attention? Because I also noticed that Lee Seol-ju accompanied him to the factory as well.
Well, I mean, again, Kim Jong-un is actually different from his father or grandfather in the sense that his wife has a very prominent role when it comes to this kind of messaging to the North Korean people. We know that in contrast to Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung never been seen in public with his wife. I mean, even though Kim Il-sung, especially his wife, became consecrated as a mother of the country. But on the other hand, we know that a woman in those areas in North Korea, especially because they tend to be very conservative, they stay in the background and then were not really seen in public often. But in contrast, Lee Seol-ju, it comes across somebody who's like a little bit like a Jackie Kennedy in the sense that she's very modern and she's beautiful, and in the sense that she has a very good sense of fashion too. So I think it's trying to cable to the North Korean people and North Korean women that the North Korean society has moved on from the past of chauvinism and with also a very passive role assigned to the woman to something more modern and positive.
Now, we also watched footage of North Korea trying to improve the welfare of fishermen in North Korea. What did you make of this, Dr. Ko?
This is actually very classic North Korea in many ways. I think the North Koreans have been trying to showcase the fact that the workers in North Korea have a much better working environment compared to especially South Korea. That's been the long-standing narrative coming out of Pyongyang. So this is not surprising. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if North Korean TV starts showing North Korean workers suffering from real, actually hazardous working conditions, which is the case in reality. So this is not surprising. So, but on the other hand, I see some of the details in the video happen to be a little bit exaggerated, especially when it comes to fishermen being able to, I mean, having like a special like a spa
salon,
kind of
right.
a place where they are taken care of with special haircuts
and they can
all
even
that.
have drinks at their own bars.
Exactly. These are, I mean, they look like more like they are in a cruise rather than a fishing boat. So these are actually very surprising details. I don't think the North Korean public would buy this because they know what's really what's really going on the ground.
So it's just for maybe international viewers, people outside North Korea trying to, find out about North Korea?
Again, this is actually North Korea sticking to the classic narrative of saying that North Korea is workers' paradise. So we are seeing the two different strands to North Korean state's messaging to their own people and to the outside world, which is, one hand, we have these classic propaganda pieces, like fishermen being taken care of by all this like unrealistic level of care. But on the other hand, we also have a realistic strand where the leader is down to earth, and very much more friendly to people, which is a different strand of narrative that I think the Kim Jong-un regime is trying to sell.
Now, we also saw some preparations air on KCTV for the monsoon season. It also has tips on how to minimize the damage from the rain. It kind of reminds me of similar campaigns aired on South Korean broadcasts as well.
Yeah, so this is a very important issue for North Korea. One of the reasons why North Korea suffered severe famine in the 90s, which led to mass starvation and the death of hundreds of thousands of North Koreans, was because of flooding that took place back-to-back in consecutive years. So flooding is a major threat. We know that recently in Hamgyong province in 2016, there's been a major flooding which affected the North Korean economic output for a considerable period of time. So flooding for North Koreans is one of the natural catastrophes that they're worried about. So this, I mean, right now in the monsoon season, both in North Korea and South Korea, it makes sense for the North Korean state to remind the public to be on guard for these kind of issues.
Now, let's move on to the latest developments on the Korean Peninsula. Ahead of his meeting with Trump in June, he replaces top 3 military officials. What was the motivation for this military shakeup? There
are a lot of different layers to this move by Kim Jong-un. One layer of interpretation in this case would be that Kim Jong-un replaces top generals to show to the outside world that Kim Jong-un is very serious about denuclearization. Because the denuclearization in North Korea would entail if they carry out as promised, a complete dismantlement of the nuclear capability. And obviously the North Korean military have a large stakes in it. Right. So it's really prudent for Kim Jong-un to replace the head of the military with a group of generals who are more amenable to Kim Jong-un's own objectives. So there's that interpretation. Another interpretation is Kim Jong-un removed them because it was about time to have new generals, and then these new generals clearly they are have more capability to sit down and negotiate with their American counterparts.
So you're saying that it might not be because of its recent developments on the Korean Peninsula. It could just be for domestic reasons.
There are two different ways of interpreting it, and one is domestic reasons. The other one is more about pragmatic reasons, such as sitting down with the American counterparts and negotiate.
And also during the summit, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un tried to take a photo with U.S. National Security Adviser John Bolton, saying that he wanted to show the photos to his hardliners to show that Bolton's not such a bad guy. He basically admitted that there are hardliners in North Korea. Can you tell us who they are and what they want?
So we have to understand the typical definition of hardliners could be different in North Korea compared to the rest of the world. What I mean by this is that North Korea, first of all, is a totalitarian regime. So it will be very difficult for somebody high-ranking in North Korea to have an opposite idea from the leaders. So it will be very dangerous for their health, I would say. So I think the definition of hardliner in North Korea will be about, not so much about the objective about denuclearization, It's really more about the speed of denuclearization. In this case, if there are hardliners in North Korea, they are probably advocating for a very slow denuclearization process in which North Korea will be holding on to their nuclear materials until the very end. And also, these hardliners clearly, as indicated by Kim Jong-un's statements in Singapore, has a very negative. Probably they are probably saying to, to them, among themselves and to Kim Jong-un that North Korea shouldn't be negotiating with the United States as long as John Bolton is in a position of influence. But then, on the other hand, the hardliners doesn't mean that they are going to oppose the complete denuclearization program that Kim Jong-un has promised to do.
And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is known to be the most powerful man in the North, but inside the country, are there different views on that? Is he the most powerful person, or is he, also moved by some other people, maybe military officials?
No, I doubt that. I think Kim Jong-un has a very firm hold on power, and is definitely the man in North Korea. He's the most important person, clearly. The reason is because when experts have been analyzing the moves made by North Korea, we have seen that whereas the overall strategy was very familiar to the North Korean watchers compared to the past, there are hints there that the North Koreans were executing strategy as they used to before. But what was different is that with Kim Jong-un, the speed of execution was very fast. So this indicated to many people that Kim Jong-un clearly was putting his own marks on the North Korean strategic execution. So in that sense, Kim Jong-un is definitely in charge. On the other hand, though, we have to give credit to Kim Jong-un in the sense that Kim Jong-un is actually listening to his own advisors very closely. There are some talks about Kim Jong-un being immature and even rash about the decision-making process. But we have seen, especially in the end of last year, that Kim Jong-un is actually wise enough to step back from the brink when the things, especially the tension between the United States and North Korea became beyond what could be managed easily. So in that sense, I think Kim Jong-un is mature enough and good leader in the sense that he listens to his advisors.
Now, the U.S. and North Korea are having their follow-up discussions after the Singapore summits. And Bolton said that they're likely to discuss the timetable for denuclearization, perhaps within a year. Will the two countries really talk about the exact timetable for North Korea's denuclearization, or will they just, stop maybe for not concrete roadmaps without a timeline?
That's a very good point. John Bolton has been saying ever since the idea, the summit was promised to take place in Singapore in March, that he wanted a complete denuclearization of North Korea along the line of Libya, which is a very unrealistic scenario to begin with, because Libya never gave up its nuclear weapons, because Libya never developed nuclear weapons in the first place. And also in the case of Libya gave up its nuclear capability before getting any promise of relaxation of sanctions from the United States, because Libya didn't need the lifting of the sanctions. North Korea is in a very clear, very different position right now. And I think John Bolton is saying what he's saying about coming up with the roadmap or timetable to complete the North Korea's denuclearization within a year as a way to pressure North Korea, just the way he was pressuring North Korea by mentioning Libyan model before the summit. So we know that the denuclearization process takes a very long time. First of all, North Korea will have to declare all the nuclear materials and nuclear infrastructure that North Korea has developed so far, and then somebody will have to go in to the country and verify that these are real, and also that the list of declaration is complete or not. So this takes multiple years. So the fact that John Bolton is talking about a timetable which is just 1 year of duration, I think that's actually a way to pressure North Korea rather than being realistic about the real denuclearization of the country.
Dr. Go, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Pyongyang Naengmyeon is an iconic summer dish loved by many South Koreans. But there's another North Korean delicacy that has captivated the taste buds of South Koreans. Let's find out more about 어복쟁반, a dish originating in the Pyongyang province of the north.
The most well-known North Korean dish in South Korea is undoubtedly Pyongyang-style naengmyeon, or cold noodles. After being included on the dinner menu for the Inter-Korean Summit, cold buckwheat noodle dish sparked a nationwide craze. Among the other North Korean dishes that capture the attention of South Korean diners is 어복쟁반. We take a look at the unique flavors it has to offer.
어렵사리 평양에서부터 평양 냉면을 가져왔습니다.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's comments about the North's signature dish sent South Koreans flocking to naengmyeon restaurants across the country. As the summer months roll in, the cold noodle craze is only growing.
남북 정상 때문에 문재인 대통령하고 김정은 씨하고 같이 회담하는 덕분에 매출이 한 20% 정도 오른 것 같습니다.
The historic meeting between the leaders of the two Koreas turned the North Korean summer dish into the hottest item on the menu.
일반 냉면이랑 다르게 조금 약간 심심한 맛이 나긴 하는데 그래도 그거만의 맛이 있는 것 같아서
요새는 이제 함흥냉면보다는 평양냉면 많이 찾는 것 같아서 평양 물려고 왔습니다.
North Korean dishes are becoming a new food trend in the South. This 50-year-old restaurant in Seoul specializes in North Korean dishes. Surprisingly, it serves a dish that is even more popular than Pyongyang Naengmyeon.
어복쟁반이 이게 아마 인기가 저희는 제일 많아요. 다른 데 음식점보다도 저희 남포면허는 주로 어복쟁반이 냉면보다 더 많이 나가는 것 같아요.
Originating in Pyongan-do province in the north, 어복쟁반 is a hot pot with beef slices and vegetables served on a round brass plate.
이거는 지금 저희가 이제 어복쟁반을 만들기 위한 그 어복쟁반 그 틀이거든요. 그래서 이 안에다가 각종 이제 고기하고 그 야채, 버섯 뭐 이렇게 각종 재료를 넣고 어복쟁반을 이제 완성을 할 거예요.
Covered with vegetables and mushrooms, boiled brisket slices are served on a brass plate, simmering in a clear beef broth.
이 어복쟁반은 간을 세게 하지 않고 굉장히 약하게 해서 굉장히 이제 그 담백한 음식이에요. 그래서 우리가 먹기에 굉장히 담백하고 좀 부드러운 음식이죠.
Unlike other hot pot dishes featuring a spicy broth, 어복쟁반 uses a light and mild-tasting broth that many diners find flavorful.
제가 매운 거 별로 안 좋아하는데 되게 구수하고 고기가 치즈맛 나는 고기도 약간 있는 것 같아서 엄청 부드럽고 맛있네요.
There are many theories as to how the beef dish got 어복 in its name, which could be translated as the belly of fish.
쟁반이 이제 보면 이렇게 볼록 나와 있잖아요. 그래서 이게 뭐 옛날에 임금님이 먹고 뭐 내 배와 뭐 비슷하다 그래서 이게 이제 어복이라는 그 설이 있거든요.
What is clear, though, is that the dish came from street markets in Pyongyang and it was enjoyed by the ordinary North Koreans. The dish's humble origins are surprising to diners in South Korea, where it is mistakenly considered a part of royal court cuisine, mostly due to its upscale appearance and high prices.
옛날에 평양시장에서 소고기랑 다 팔고 그런 사람들이 거기서 어복살 같은 거 모아서 거기 메밀면이 같이 기잖아요. 그러니까 그게 우리말은 전골학 같아요. 가진 소고기 재료를 넣고 배도 넣고 무도 넣고 미나리도 넣고 해서 마지막에 거기다 국수를 삶아서 메밀국수를 삶아서 먹는 게 그게 어복쟁반이에요.
What was originally made out of the unsold leftovers of the day's sales has turned into a gourmet dish in the South.
북한 음식이 특징이란 게 그게 북한은 그 양념이 강하잖아요. 그리고 지나친 양념을 쓰지 않고 음식의 모든 것이 재료 맛이에요.
North Korean cuisine is enjoying increasing popularity in the South. Its mild yet addictive flavor has been pleasing the palates of many South Korean diners.
건강식인 것 같아서 맛있고 좋네요.
A recent thaw in relations between the two Koreas has triggered a newfound interest in Pyongyang's culinary classics among South Koreans. Hopefully, it will help bring more North Korean dishes to a wider audience.
This is all we have for you today. We will be back next week. Thank you for watching.